Hello and welcome everybody to the stream. I'm Ryan Cardinal, the Ryan Cardinal, and I will be working on some of my coloring book pages today. If anybody out there has any questions, either on YouTube or Twitch, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer any and all questions that you may have put forward. Yo, what up, Blood? How you doing? Not much, just hanging out. Nice, nice, nice. Well, hope your day's going well. Mine has been pretty chilled and relaxed for the most part. I think I should have everything good to go here. Alright. In theory, anyway. Maybe not in actual practice. Alright, page 30. Alright, cool. And maybe this one? Where is it? Is it down here? There it is. Maybe I'll work something out with this. See where the scribble takes me tonight. Let's see, what kind of stuff can I do here? Maybe some kind of like bitchin' throne of some kind. See how far I can put my head in. Okay, I can get about that close before my head gets too much in the way. See where all this ends up. Plugging away. Let's see, I'm kind of... Still on this layer? Okay, okay. Put some kind of headdress armor kind of thing on them. Maybe kind of like Wonder Woman tiara style. Or should I just make it just a straight warrior's helmet? Maybe bring these in a little bit tighter. Bring this out a lot more. Maybe make it a little bit more, maybe a little bit more tech. Trying not to get too involved with it. Bring that down a little bit further. It seems to be kind of working as something. Tone that down a little bit more. Don't really need all that. And new layer. Turn this off right now. Maybe make this one blue. Clear that. Maybe that's not the one I'm looking for. Yo, Jay, what's going on? How you doing? How are things in your neighborhood, man? Coloring book? Yeah. Yeah, just chipping away at this coloring book project that I'm working on, so plugging away, doing stuff, doing things. How's your day going? My neighborhood is good. Prepping to do an art retrospective stream. Oh, nice. What's the retrospective on? Gonna go through and talk about a ton of old to new art I did and answer a question and whatnot. Oh, nice. Well, that'll be fun. Visit some relics of the past. Nothing like looking through your old stuff with modern eyes. Yeah, embarrassing relics. Are you working on an entire coloring? But yeah. I'm just a personal project that I got going on for my Patreon, and then once it hits a certain point, then I will actually make headway to making it more of a reality. But as of right now, it's kind of like the tier that I have available for my Patreon subscribers. But I also haven't made like a big official Patreon announcement either, so just kind of just prepping a bunch of stuff for it. So between this and the comic book project, it's kind of like the 1-2 punch I got going on for my Patreon stuff. Yeah, it's fun looking back at old stuff and just being like, oh man. I remember like I got sketchbooks from like when I was like 14, 15, and back when I used to be a big Rob Liefeld fan and attempting to draw quote-unquote women like Rob Liefeld. Whew, rough. I have some gems from back when. Nice. I always think it's good to bring that stuff out too once in a while, just to show people, like, you know, it's just like, look, it hasn't all been, you know, cool stuff. It's been a lot of banging your head against the wall too, so it's like everybody goes through it.
Son of a...
Hey Jay, thanks for the comment, man. Coloring book sounds like a rad project. Yeah, here, I'll show you some of the stuff that I've been working on with it. So it's all symmetry based because it's it doesn't take me terribly long to do stuff like that, and it's stuff I can pump out fairly quick. So this is all stuff from October's Patreon. Yeah, that's kind of part of it, to have fun, answer questions, and show that we're all just people trying to do cool stuff. Exactly. Let's look at that. Where is it? That's from the last stream I did. So yeah, just fun, kind of all over the place stuff, kind of like within the realms of sci-fi, fantasy, and part of the goal with it too is I'm trying not to really think terribly too much. Like even what I'm doing here, this is already enough information for me. I should just be going into it, but I'm kind of focusing on this foreground dude, which technically I might not need. So, meh. See, was watching one of your duties before work. Fast? Oh, thank you. Hey, Cammy. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Hope you're having a good day, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, working with the symmetry tool, just obviously, you know, you get to do twice as much work in half the amount of time. And for kind of what I'm aiming for, like I said, it's not about it's more about volume and what I can pump out without thinking too much about it, and just kind of making stuff. That guy doesn't even really need to be there right now. I can just omit him. And just getting enough information down where I can just, you know, go at it. At least that's the, you know, theoretical plan. Day as well? Nice, nice. I like that you get enough room for colors to have fun with it. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like I want to put enough stuff in there, but still leave a lot of options for the colorist. And one of the things I'm debating with the coloring book too is printing out all the line art in a lighter gray as opposed to like heavy blacks. And that way, if they want to go back into it and do the line art, they can, you know, add their flair to the lines and stuff like that. So it's not beholden to my line work either. It also gives them a little bit more room to build up edges and stuff like that as well, if they want to go in with more of like color blocking and stuff like that. Let's see, when you had come by my stream before, you said you used to tattoo. Alright, yeah, this is more enjoyable. What do you like to do? Yeah, it's, 20 years of tattooing, and that was it. I was just like, that's enough of that job. Basically, within the first year and a half, 2 years, I kind of like made an assessment. I was like, oh, is this all there is to it? And, you know, in hindsight, literally, you know, almost 20 years after the fact, I look back and it's like, yeah, I figured it out within the first year and a half, and I just kept putting different masks on the job to keep it more interesting. But then after 20 years, you know, there's only so many masks you can put on and be like, you're just changing masks on what the job is, you know? And ultimately, it stopped becoming satisfying. And it's the type of job where if you are not 100% into it, it's best that you leave that job in that industry to people that want to be there. And I respect it enough to be like, yeah, I'm out. I knew my time was done, and I've seen enough tattoo artists burn out and not know it. It's just like, dude, you gotta quit. Like, you gotta go do something else. But a lot of people get stuck in the trap, and that's all they know. And yeah, it's, you know, it's frightening to switch careers, especially when you're you know, you reach a certain level of technical ability, merit, clientele, all that kind of stuff, and it's hard for a lot of people to let go. My mom loves coloring stuff, and I remember her talking about that a lot, and not having a lot of room to color. Yeah, that's well, I'm trying to get feedback from people too, like what they would like to see when I actually go to print out the books. And when I bring up the gray line, a lot of people are like, ooh, I really like the idea of that, because, you know, it gives the colorist more options. And I'm also thinking about doing it on like a nice quality, more absorbent cardstock. So not just like, you know, flimsy paper or anything like that, but that way, you know, each piece you could actually, if you want to, take it out, frame it, and then it's a nice solid piece, it lasts a long time. I hear you on that. I left comics because I wasn't into it as much as illustration and design. Yeah, see, I was almost the exact same boat, just going in a different direction. That's pretty much all tattooing got to be for me was just design and illustration, but not even to the point where, how can I put this? At least with design and illustration, for in the context of games or developing an IP or something like that, it has to convey a story, you know? As where with tattooing, a lot of it was, I want something cool, fill in the blank. And after a while, it was just like, you're just doing poster art, you know? You're just doing pinup art, and you're not even doing it to a level that, like, how can I put this? I always give the person, there's the option of, like, I can do it to get it done, I can do it so that you're happy with it, I can do it so it looks awesome, or I can do it the way I do it, but it's gonna cost you. And, like, what's the difference? Is like, the difference is gonna look really fucking good if I'm into it. If not, you're just getting a tattoo. And they'll be like, okay, well, let's do that. And that always turned out better. But in the end, a lot of people just, you know, they only have a certain amount of money, they only have a certain amount of time. So I always felt that no matter how much I put into it, it's just like, this isn't a full 100% of what I can do. So it you know, kind of self-defeating that way, because, you know, I'm trying to do my absolute best for the client, but I'm bound by what, you know, the client wants, and there's only so much time, money, and effort on the client side that they're willing to give, you know, so. Perforated pages, yeah, maybe perforated pages, or yeah, something where they can take it out so it's easy to color. Did you ever get someone who did it, who did go for it and come in for multiple sessions? Oh yeah, no, like, had lots of clients, like back pieces, sleeves, stuff like that. You know, I had this one client, he came in and he had this god-awful, I can't even remember what it was, I think it was like hot rod flames or something like that. And he's like, can you cover this up? And I was like, yeah, but, like, you're in for a nightmare of a time. I was like, you're better off going get lasering, like 5 or 6 sessions of laser, and then come back. I was like, it'd be way cheaper. And he's like, well, I don't want to do that. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be cheaper. It's going to look a lot better. He's like, well, can you cover it up as it is? I'm like, yeah, I can, but man, it's going to be a long, nightmarish procedure. He's like, all right, let's do it. And ended up doing it. He followed through. He was one of those guys that had no problem. And it's just like, look, it's going to look like complete mess and complete garbage until the last 4 sessions. Those last 4 sessions, you know, that's going to be like the swordsman putting the final sheen on everything. Up until that point, you're going to have to deal with people saying, I don't know what I'm doing. It looks like trash. What the hell's going on with this? I was like, you got to trust me. And he's like, all right. And sure enough, like, right at the end, those last 4 sessions, you know, line work tightens up, the highlights come in, the last tones of the color to push and pull everything back out, and yeah, you couldn't tell that he had a half sleeve of hot rod flames at the end. Yeah, loose pages is cool for a coloring book. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, you know, you can pick out what you want, and, you know, just go at it and have a good time. 'Cause that's the whole point with this, is, you know, art's supposed to be fun. I don't know if anybody told y'all, but by the way, art's a lot of fun to do. That's amazing. Yeah, it's unfortunate though. I did lose a couple clients because you know, people would worm tongue in through their ear being like, that guy doesn't know what he's doing, it looks like garbage. And I'm just like, I'm telling you, man, last 4 sessions, everything's gonna make sense. There's a reason I'm doing it this way. And yeah, this is one client that I actually had to fire. This is 14 years of tattooing at this point, and this is the first time I've ever had to let go a client, because I was just like, dude, you're acting insane. Yeah, really, really bizarre stuff, and I was just like, this is, like, really, like, he was a deep sea diver, but he's been diving for 10 plus years, and He was doing underwater welding, I believe, and I think you're only supposed to do it for a couple of years, and he's already well past the prime. And there was some weirdness and characteristics. I was just like, this is putting me on edge, man. Like, I gotta let you go, dude. Like, 14 years of tattooing, I've never had to fire a client, but get the hell out of my shop. It takes people years to realize art is supposed to be fun, and some never do. You know how it is. Oh, completely. Yeah, you're supposed to enjoy what you're doing. And again, that's another reason why I ended up leaving the tattoo trade, is because it's not that it wasn't enjoyable, just there are other pursuits that I know I'd enjoy more. And yeah, that's why I dropped everything and decided to jump into comic books and then the animation industry. And that's been 2 years now. And as its moments, you know, like, I got to be on some really cool projects, got to do a Netflix thing, that was super fun. But I'm also trying to be wary and very selective as to what I'm doing, because essentially I could fall into the exact same trap where I'm just doing the job for money, and I'm just like, I'd rather not do that. Because if that's the case, I'll just go back to tattooing, you know, if it's just about making a buck. But even then, I'm just like, nah, I'll go, you know, flip burgers before I do that. So that's how done I am with tattooing. Let's see, if you don't mind telling, how does the career begin in tattoo? I don't know if it's still a thing. Did you have to practice on leather? So what ended up happening was, my career is not the way it goes. Like, quite literally, this is not how it happens. So when I tell people my career path, how I got into tattooing, I gotta tell them, A, this is at a completely different era and time of tattooing, and B, you know, geographically speaking, time-wise, like, you know, the stars align, so to speak. So when I got into it, my buddy Nathan, he was the guy that was getting tons of tattoos from different shops and stuff like that, and so he went to this one artist who's really, like, freaking good, like, super good, probably the best in the entire area, hands down. And I ended up drawing this piece for him, and he went and got it done, and he was just like, oh man, who drew that for you? He's like, oh, my buddy Ryan did. And he was just like, oh, is he looking for an apprenticeship? And which kind of pissed on my buddy Nathan, because he's looking for an apprenticeship. And he's like, oh, I'll go ask him. And he's like, hey man, Dustin's wondering if you want an apprenticeship. And at this point, I knew nothing about tattooing, so I was like, no, dude, like, that's not my jam. I'm not looking to get into tattooing, because I knew nothing about it. He's like, well, it's there if you want it. And I was like, nah. So then, you know, fast forward another month or so, the guy who eventually became my boss, he because I used to go and sell him old tattoo sheets and stuff like that. And this is back when I was like a 17-year-old kid, so it's just like, oh man, I need party money, so I'd just go sell artwork to the tattoo shop. You know, walk away with, you know, anywhere from like 20 to like maybe like $80, just, you know, selling like pinup chicks skulls and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll buy these off you. And he's like, hey, you ever think about getting into tattooing? And I was like, get out of here, like, because like, what the hell, man? Everybody's trying to throw this at me. I'm just like, no, man, it's not my thing, because I was dead set against it, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna be a comic book artist. And he's like, oh, okay. And fast forward about, you know, a couple more months after that, I busted my knee, had knee surgery, and I was on disability. And disability gave me a call, and they were just like, hey, according to our records, you're fit enough to be working full-time again. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, this is like literally the first day I'm able to get out of bed without being in excruciating pain. And literally, this is what the Government Disability of Canada on the phone said to me. He's like, good, you can get off your ass and start handing out resumes. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, you have until the end of the month to have a part-time job, or you get completely cut off of disability. And I was just like, oh shit. So, now I'm scrambling trying to get my, resume together, and quite literally within, the next 2 days, I'm sitting at a local coffee shop and like, who's gonna hire, an 18-year-old guy with a busted knee that can barely move. It's not like I can do labor, it's like I can barely do office work, my typing skills are shit. I'm scrambling and I'm trying to think of like, what jobs can I fulfill? I was like, well, maybe I can go to Safeway, stock shelves, like that's fine. I'm just gonna be really freaking slow at it. And so I'm sitting having a coffee at one of the local coffee shops, and my old boss comes up to me. Well, not my old boss, but soon to be boss. And he's your atypical biker tattoo artist, like 6'4", looks like a Viking, big beard. And he comes up and he's like, "Hey, Cardinal." I'm like, "Oh, hey, Scott, how's it going?" He's like, "You want a job?" And in my mind, I was just like, I wonder if he wants me to sell drugs. Maybe I'll sell drugs. And it's like, but nothing hard. Maybe just weed. And so I go to him, just like, a job doing what exactly? And so he goes, sitting on your ass, making an extra $300 a month. And I was like, if you can write me out a receipt for that, I'm in. He's like, all right, cool. I'll see you on the 1st. You're my new apprentice. And that's how I got my apprenticeship. Maybe I'll sell drugs, yeah. But I put the caveat in there, because like, it's atypical biker dude, And so that's how I got my apprenticeship. Most apprenticeships, you got to go in, you got to pay for your apprenticeship, you got to do the time. You're there for at least, a year and a half, 2 years before they even let you do anything, because it's a grind. Like, they don't want people coming and going through the shop, learning stuff, and then, being a kitchen wizard out of their home and stuff. So yeah, that's how I got my apprenticeship. Is it literally, 3 separate occasions. It was, being offered to me once, offered to me twice, and then the third time was just like, okay, well, I actually legit need a job, so I could stay on disability. So I became the official shop janitor. That was my title, because there's no real way that I'd be like, oh, I'm the apprentice. That's not a legitimate title. So I was just like, yeah, just make me the shop janitor, and that way, just write that on the receipt. I can bring that into disability, and yeah. And I was a janitor. I did clean up, I did mop, I did sweep, I did all that stuff, which you do as an apprentice. Bottom rung on the totem pole. Thank you, that's very informative and entertaining. Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, but like I said, that's not how it goes. Yeah, you do not get paid for your apprenticeship. Like, more times than not, you end up paying for it. And yeah, it's the apprenticeship is designed more times than not to make it so you want to quit. Like a proper traditional tattoo apprenticeship should push you to the brink of, why am I doing this on a daily basis? Because if you are not able to deal with what the people in the shop are putting you through, you're not going to be ready for what clients are going to put you through. Because as awesome as tattoo clients are, there are some that are just like, what is going on in your mind? I heard that, but that was some time ago. I had heard it. Things are slowly changing. I honestly think it's not for the better. Because a lot of people that are getting into tattooing, from what I see, they're kind of getting like a fast track, and like how can I put this? I've known tattoo artists to be like, ooh, I don't like the way that customer looks, I don't want to deal with them. And it's just like, dude, you can't do that. Like, you can't pick and choose your clientele. It comes through the door, whoever they are. You got to work on them, because it's the job. Oh, they look like a junkie? Guess what? They probably are a junkie. Oh, that person looks like a cop? Guess what? They probably are a cop. Oh, they're sitting next to each other? You got to treat them the exact same. So there's no, you know, no picking and choosing, especially when it's not your shop, you know. And if you're learning. I remember my boss reamed me out once because of an incident, and in my defense, it was actually to save some face for the shop, so I made it look like I was a pretentious a-hole. But when I told him why I did what I did, he was kind of like, okay, well, never do that again. I was like, okay, man. So do you feel you benefit from the tattoo career, or do you feel it slowed you down, as I may ask? Column A, column B. Design-wise, it definitely helped out. But what ended up happening is I did hit a point where you kind of hit this limit, and depending on what kind of clientele that you have coming to you, the clientele acts as your barrier for your personal growth. Because if you want to do these things, you gotta keep pushing in that direction, and you only may get like 1 or 2 people hitting that thing you want to do once in a while, because 80% of your clientele, you know, they're obviously coming in for their things. They want, you know, their little you know, infinity symbols, you know, mustache fingers, stuff like that. So you really got to be pushing yourself to get better, but there is this weird barrier that happens where, you know, there's only so far you can go, and I hit that barrier. I was just like, man, I'm just tattooing too much. Like, I don't even draw anymore. Like, clients would come in and I'd just be like, yeah, sit down, I'm gonna draw on you, because, you know, there's no time for me to draw up your sleeve in advance. It's just like, yeah, we're just gonna draw it all on you. You know, the day's yours, and at the end of the day, we'll have your outline ready to go. Did you guys have a way you handled drunk people, or you just did the work and let them do it? So whenever we're at the shop, like we never would tattoo drunk people, because it's just not worth it. But what we used to do is, and we did this a lot, was they would come in and they'd be like, I want to get a tattoo, ha ha ha, and we'd be like, all right, cool, lay down a deposit. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, I got time tomorrow, which if we had time, we would be like, yep, I got time for you tomorrow right at noon, but we need a minimum deposit of $100 to hold the spot. Whatever you want to pop in for tomorrow, they'd be like, oh, cool, all right, I want to get a, you know, Sweet Dragon, or, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. They'd be like, all right, cool, as long as you're here tomorrow at noon. If you're not here at noon, you have 15 minutes. Within that 15 minutes, if somebody else shows up and you're not here, you know, spot moves on. That's just the way it goes. And like, all right, cool, be at noon. I think we only had like 2 guys ever show up. I was like, oh shit, you didn't show up. Nice. All right, cool. What do you want to do? And they'd be hungover as hell. So, so that's how we would handle people that were drunk and stuff like that. Make them make appointments and lay down deposits. And there'd be other times too where they'd be like, oh, I can't come in tomorrow. Can I come in, you know, like a week from now? It's like, yep, if you would lay down a deposit now, and we'll give you a call to remind you. You're like, all right, cool. A borderline scam? Well, it's not a scam when it's the routine that you do all the time and people keep coming back. So we had one dude come back multiple times, and he would only come back when he was drunk, and he would lay down a $50 deposit every time. And I think it was after like the 5th or 6th time, we were just like, all right, dude, we're just gonna book you in on a day where you know, you're not gonna be hungover. And because at that point we were just like, all right, obviously this guy wants a tattoo, but he's, you know, he just keeps screwing up. So he's like, yeah, you're a good dude, we'll give you a good deal, man. You've literally paid for your tattoo already. That's better than actually giving them the tattoo that turns out they don't want. Yeah, exactly. So, let's see. Not the first time I've heard a place doing deposits to cover for no-shows. Well, that's why deposits are there. Technically, they're not deposits. At least they shouldn't be calling them deposits. I can't remember what the proper term is, but deposit is not the correct terminology. But yeah, it's just to cover, because the amount of people that will no-show is massive. It's, I'd say no-shows are almost as common as people showing up for their appointments. Like one of my buddies, he was... I would book him in on days that I knew that I had to get stuff drawn, because the odds of him actually showing up were about 75 to 80% no-show. So it's like, alright, cool, I'll book him in this day. That way I can say I have an appointment booked, but I know he's probably not going to show up, so I can get a lot of drawing done that day. Reservation, yeah, no, I can't remember there's supposed to be some kind of proper, like, terminology you're supposed to use for it. But everybody uses deposit, but... But yeah, no, we wouldn't tattoo anybody drunk. Some people would slip by the goalie once in a while. You know, they'd come in and they'd be on their, like, yeah, like 3-4 beer. I'm just like, yeah, that's no problem. And if they're friends of ours and stuff like that, you know, we're fine with that kind of stuff, so. But it's when it's just randos off the street and we're just like, nope, come back when you're sober. But the amount of, you got to remember too. This is an era of tattooing. This is the tail end of the old school biker days. So a lot of what you see nowadays is not the way it used to be, not by a long shot. Used to be a lot more wilder. A lot of stuff used to fly that. Nowadays, people would probably just drop dead of a heart attack of how appalled they would be that, you know, it would even be suggested that this would happen. It's just like, dude, that would be like a Friday night, every night. Let's see. I was intrigued when you were in my stream talking about it, so I hope you don't mind me asking about all... No, not at all, not at all. Not at all. It's, yeah, it's interesting to see how it's all shifted over the past, I'd say like 10 years. I feel, this is my personal opinion, it's kind of gone the way that professional skateboarding did in the 90s. That's kind of how tattooing is right now. And by that I mean people getting into it for sponsorships, businesses popping up left, right, and center with people that don't know anything about the industry, but they know they can make, you know, a lot of cash on it if they know how to work it properly. You know, a lot of fly-by-night tattoo shops, fly-by-night supply shops.
Son of a...
Hey, Candy, thanks for calling. It always resonates with me when someone decides to stop what they're doing and focus more on something they love, and to kind of save the appreciation. Yeah, that's exactly why I quit. Because, you know, I had to take like a long overview of like, do I love tattooing? And I was like, no. I was like, do I love art? And I was like, yeah. All right, what do you want to do? What would you rather be doing on your deathbed? Would you rather be tattooing or still just drawing and doing art? And I was like, oh, doing art. I was like, I don't want to be hunched over somebody on my deathbed making them happy. Fuck that. I'd rather be doing doing my thing. And the way that the internet now is too is like it leaves you more options to actually do your own thing. So, you know, that's one thing that I talk to a bunch of people whenever I'm hanging out with them is just like, fuck man, like, do your own thing. Like now is the time to do it. Like, no time in human history has an artist had the ability to make their thing a viable thing, whatever it may be. So I would rather take a stab at doing my thing and having, you know, increment successes toward it, as opposed to not doing my thing and wondering, maybe I could have. I'm always trying to get people to, you know, hop on board with it and just like, no man, fucking do your thing. That's hard to learn for some people. Yeah, like shit, man. Realistically, because I think about it, it's like, oh, I should have done this sooner. But when I look in retrospect, it's like, actually, no, I couldn't have, because the flexibility that tattooing allowed me at that point in time, no other job would have allowed me. You know, especially where I was and what I was doing and all that kind of stuff. Because where I was living before, there was no other type of industry really art related, you know. So like video games wasn't a thing, comic books wasn't really an option. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll stick with tattooing until, you know, the plan of doing comic books comes to fruition, and it never does, because you're too busy doing other people's stuff. So. But like I said, it allowed me the flexibility that no other job would have. So, plus some people don't want to put in the extra work it can take to do what they want versus available already. Exactly. And that's kind of where I was, just because I was like, man, I can really try to push out to do my own thing. Because at one point I was like, I had my own shop, all that kind of stuff. And I assumed, it's like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do, right? This is the logical, linear thought process. You do good, you build up clientele, you get the shop, more clientele, bring people underneath you, and after a while, I was just like, this isn't worth it, man. This is not worth it. I burnt out in AAA games, lost my love for the art of it. Took me a few years to get back and enjoying it again. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is burnout's a bitch, man. And the thing is, a lot of people aren't aware of when they're burnt out. They'll find out way later that they're burnt out. and on this I speak from the perspective of seeing other tattoo artists, like my old mentor, or one of them I should say, Danny Boy. I bumped into him years and years after the fact, after he trained me and stuff, and I was just like, oh cool, let me see your sketchbooks. And he's like, dude, I haven't drawn in probably about 2-3 years. And I was like, what? Because he hit that point I was talking about. You're too busy tattooing, you don't even have time to draw. And he's like, yeah man, I don't draw anymore, I'm just tattooing all the time, and I'll just draw on people. And that's where I kind of got the heads up. I was like, oh, that's something to look out for, because yeah, I don't want to do that. Slow boil, exactly. The old frog in the pot analogy. You don't know you're cooking alive until it's too late. But like I said, I was lucky enough to have enough people ahead of me that I was able to see where they were at, to be like, oh, okay, I can see the issues and problems you're having that you're not even aware of right now. And I know when I hit that, I'll know where I am in comparison to you. So I have almost like a canary in the coal mine indicator going on. I see Kyra says to tell you she said hi, but she's doing homework. Oh, okay. Hey, Kyra, how's it going? Get that homework done. It won't do itself. As much as you'd like it to. Well, I'm glad that you found your love of art again after the initial burnout, because it can be tricky to get back into it. Like, I'm still just getting back into it, and it's been 2 years since I've retired from tattooing. Still love doing art, still doing this stuff, but there are still days where, like, hey, let's draw, and I'm just like, it's like, bah. But you could probably relate to this too, Jay. But when your job is to be creative output at the drop of a hat, non-stop, all day, every day, and then you have a chance to do it for yourself, when you're burnt out, it's the last thing you want to do. And it takes a while, at least it has for me, to kind of fill up that creative reservoir again, back to the point where I can go back into it and start pulling from it. Kami helped me with it. Oh, nice. She had burnout from a different direction, and we kind of leaned on each other. Oh, it's nice that you had somebody to lean on. It makes all the difference in the world too, having backup. Yeah, the meter is empty. Doing creativity at high speed for someone else's dreams is worse than... Yep, that's it, exactly. You know exactly what's up, man. Yeah, because that's exactly how I felt with the tattoo world, was because it was just like, you got to remember too, like, it's doing projects and stuff like that for like IPs. Yeah, you're being creative, but like, you have a grand vision, you have this back and forth going on. Now amplify that with individuals for 20 years and it's all over the map. It's not like this go like, hey, we're going to make this style of game and we're going to work on it. It's just like, all right, so-and-so walked in randomly, so you got to churn out the creative juice for, oh, you want, let me get this straight. You want a Sagittarius warrior with a knight battling with what in the background? Oh, okay, dark stormy skies and astrological signs made of lightning. And it's like, and then you have somebody else coming in right after that for something completely different. So, yeah, the creative juices are being extracted on every single front. And also, I was, like I said, I came from the tail end of the biker era, and the biker era was there's no, oh, I specialize in this. No, it's like it walks through the door, you do it. They want a portrait, you better be fucking good at portraits. Oh, they want traditional, you better be good at traditional. They want tribal, better be good at tribal. I was like, oh, I'm not good at it. It's like, no, there is no, it's not my thing. It's like, you do it, and you do it well. On their skin, yeah. You know, if you weren't good at portraits, you tell them, just like, look, portraits are not my thing. But when you have a 6'4" Viking boss breathing down your neck, it makes a big difference. Because then it's just like, well, it's not your thing. You better damn well make it your thing. Start learning that. Because, you know, it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm very appreciative that I had, you know, fear driving me as a motivator. Because I learned how to do a lot of stuff that I would have avoided because it was, you know, not my preference or not my style or, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, I never knew how to do portraits, and then, you know, I learned how to do portraits real quick. How many mermaids? Lots. Skulls? Lots. And that Bluebird of Happiness. Bluebird of Happiness, I don't know about that one. That's definitely not the Twitter bird, I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Things that I've done. Wizards, dragons, hell yeah, yep. Wizards, dragons, warriors, demons. And I kind of, like, near the tail end of my career, I just said, screw it, I'm only doing comic book shit. It's the only thing I'm interested in. You know, I had people coming up being like, yo man, I want like this sick, you know, back piece of this and that, maybe go into a bodysuit. I'm just like, nope, not interested. Bluebird with the red chest. Yeah, I can't picture anything. Trying to think what else. Yeah, tons of tribal back in the day, which, funny enough, really helped with my design sense. Because you got to try and make that stuff, you know, look good. that's tricky as hell. So I think I can start working from here, start making some stuff. Asian characters, yeah, tons of that. Yeah, when you're the apprentice, that's your, you know, any kanji came in, that was, you're called up to bat, because that's your learning grounds. Let me get back over there. Too bright. Screaming wolf heads, yep, some sick wolf tats. If you guys want to check out some super funny Instagrams, there's an Instagram page called If Tattoos Were Food. That's a good one. It's a lot of stuff that tattoo artists deal with, because a lot of what people would say to a tattoo artist, if you just put it in the context of, you know, somebody ordering food, it's just like, that sounds ridiculous. What angle are you working on your tablet screen that is mask? Let's see, what am I at here? Maybe like a 30 degree angle? Yeah, about 30 degree angle. Something where I can rest my arm on it, and I'm not hunched over it, and I'm not, you know, straight up like this. One of the things from tattooing is it, totally screwed up my neck and back and all that kind of stuff. So I gotta find the right position where I'm leaning and resting on it, and yeah, if my arms are raised up, even for like 10-15 minutes, I am done. Let's see, I'm adjusting my workspace a little because I do some repetitive stress. Yeah. So again, back to tattooing. That's what another issue is, the repetitive stress injuries that you get from it. Like my hips now, I could actually, like, I'm not in agony and pain when I wake up in the morning. Just from tattooing and the positions you got to be in, because you got to like, you're almost like a back catcher for baseball. You're in this weird kind of like crouched ready position. And if your arms are resting or floating or hanging too much, your whole back and neck will seize up. So you got to find ways so your arms are resting on things and being able to pivot and stuff like that. Or at least that's what I had to do. I've seen a lot of other artists that weren't aware of it. One of my coworkers recently at an animation gig, I was just observing how she was drawing, because I'd look over and I'd see her cranking her neck, cracking her neck, and all this stuff. And I was just like, I'd look over and be like, dude, you have the worst drawing position ever, like I have ever seen. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, man, like, you're gonna give yourself what hairdressers get. And I don't know if you know hairdressers, like, because they're cutting hair like this at all times, so what is it, anything that's in your hand once it's extended, if it's like an ounce, it now weighs, what is it? I can't remember it. It's amplified by a certain degree. So if like you're holding 1 pound here and you hold your arm out, it automatically becomes 10 pounds. You're holding 2 pounds, boom, it automatically feels like you're holding 20 pounds. And that's how she was drawing. She's drawing with her arms like straight out like this on the Cintiq, and her Cintiq is like straight up, so she's almost like hitting it like a painter, And I was just like, dude, you're gonna destroy yourself. And she's like, well, this is how I draw. And I was like, yeah, I can take the horse to water, but you can't make him drink, man. So it's not like I've been, doing art for 20 plus years in god-awful conditions. Yeah, I messed with my neck and back up years because I'm 6'2" and a crouch over my drawing space. Yeah, see, that's the other thing too, is like, there's the weird hunch, like you get like the old, was it the 9 Old Men hunch from the old Disney days, where like you'd see them like this and they'd just be like this ball, like it's like their head and back just merged together. So you got to find that nice position of good posture, but also where you're able to relax and rest on stuff. Yeah, whenever I'd go work for a new animation company, like one of the first things I do is I look at the desk, I look at the chairs. I'm just like, all right, can I position this so I can actually work at the Cintiq, just ergonomic wise? And one of the places, it was just a nightmare. There was no chairs that fit the tables properly, and the Cintiq was just too high, and the chair wouldn't go into the right spot, and it's just like, this is freaking bullshit. Yeah, very important ergonomics of everything, especially with art. I can't imagine being as tall as you are and doing that. There's got to be so much that you got to take into account as well. And being that tall too, like You know, that's that much more leverage, that's that much more usage of the muscle. A lot of things that you don't consider until, you know, way down the road, and you're like, oh shit. Hey Ryan, glad to catch you tonight. This is a Throne of Swords. Wicked looking. Oh, thanks. Hey, Paint Monkey, how's it going? Yeah, just kind of just doodling some stuff up right now for the coloring book. I had a dude. I was gonna put in the foreground, but I think I might just concentrate on this for right now. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But how you doing there, Paint Monkey? Get back in there. Wait. Cool to see it coming along. Oh, thanks, man. What are you working on as of late? I know you got your retrospective coming on there, Jay. Are you working on anything other than that? Or is it just like client stuff? Because you were working on that Mega Man piece last time that I saw, and that was looking badass, by the way. Let's see, cool, going good. I'm kind of winding down for the night. Nice. Modular dungeon piece done for fun. Nice. Oh, I think I saw. I might have clicked out just as you were segueing into that. Last time that I was on. Yeah, that was looking cool. I think you were working on some like rocks and stuff like that. By the way, I'm a sucker for rocks, so I like what I saw. I only stream for fun as a rule. Nice, nice. Yeah, business art is a different deal. Client art is sometimes it's fun to work on, but then other times it's just like, no, I got to get this done. Which is helped by the fact that my work cannot be streamed. Right. And you got all the NDA stuff going on. Yeah, I know how that goes. One of the projects we were working on for this animation company, we were doing a comic book thing for them, and shit, we were locked up doing that quite a while. So my presence online pretty much just like disintegrated. Because obviously, you know, can't stream any of that stuff because it's all NDA. Super fun project though in the end. Bit of a nightmare, but still a fun project. That classic scenario of upper management micromanaging everything just so that they could have their stamp on it. It's like, man, we would have been done this so much quicker and better if you just let us do our jobs. Let's see. I paint the hearts and stuff on the screen if I could, but we do those like 8 months in advance. Yeah, you don't want any of that stuff leaking out. It's because, you know, fans be crazy. It'd be different if it was just promo word. Yeah, and streaming's super fun too. Like, I ended up streaming because one of the things that I loved about tattooing was sitting down and getting to like chat and hang out with random people. Like that's one of the things that actually kept me in the job for as long as it was, is because, you know, you get to meet a crap ton of different people. You know, like I said, you know, it could be a doctor, a cop, drug addict, all waiting in line. You know, it's super funny. Tattooing cops is always funny. When I started streaming, I knew it would only be fun because there is been trying to focus on making sure we have lots of time for fun art. Exactly. That's why we avoid freelance and just work on our main jobs. I'd rather have time for our fun art rather than extra money. Yeah, exactly. There's that weird balance that comes in. Like, where I'm kind of at right now is, if I can segue into doing my comic book, like, if I can get my Patreon to do, you know, essentially, you know, help me out with the bills, rent, stuff like that, if I can segue into that, I would rather be doing that full-time and just squeaking by than, you know, going making tons of money and just, like, building and accumulating. It's like, but that's just me, though. I'd rather eke out for a while doing the thing that I want to do to get it to a point where then I can thrive from it later. But with that being said, too, I'll go back into the animation industry and just go steal their money, and once I make enough, come back and just keep working on my projects until, you know, the bank account's dry and is like, alright, I guess I gotta go back work for you guys then. Which I think I got like maybe 2 more months before I gotta do that again, so. You prefer a tablet screen like Intuos non-screen tablet? I used to draw on it Intuos forever, but then I ended up. It didn't. Yeah, then I ended up getting Cintiq for at home, and then I would still draw on tablet at work when I was tattooing, and then just the ability to, you know, draw on screen. I was just like, yeah, I gotta buy a portable one just for work now, and yeah, I like it a lot more, definitely on screen. Plus, I'm the kind of guy that any trick in the book to get the job done, I'll do it. You know, if I gotta cut, splice, photo bash stuff to get it to a point where I'm just like, this is what I have in my head, I'll pull out all the stops to get to that point. I have no shame. That's what tattooing has taught me. But yeah, definitely on screen. I did live painting for years in clubs and DJ sets. Nice. Approach broadcasting, thinking it should be similar thing, but no, it's a whole different world with strange, demanding expectations from people. Yeah, well, my old tattoo shop that I used to have, we used to have life drawing classes there, as well as art shows. So, you know, we always had a nice, healthy array of art-related things that we were doing. Streaming is definitely different. Yeah. But I like the interaction. Like, I've seriously only had like a handful of rando trolls roll by. One of them was really bad, but at the exact same time, I was just like, nah, I'd rather keep this troll here than have, you know, have them going onto somebody else's stream and causing them misery and grief. I was like, man, that's tattoo artist for 20 years. Like, nothing you could say is going to do anything. So I'd almost rather keep them in their vile attitude contained here, and build up a log of like, yep, that's this person. Yep. All right, we're just gonna submit all of this to Twitch. All right. But other than that, everybody's been awesome. I even had one of the trolls, you know, stop, and he was just like, all right, you're pretty cool. I think I'm actually gonna hang out for a bit. I was like, fuck yeah, man, whatever, do your thing, man. I streamed years ago and it was pretty bad. Stopped for years. I just started like a month and a half ago and it's been excellent now. Nice. Yeah, it's super fun. I got one of my friends. We started dual streaming. He had a print that he was trying to get ready for the Vancouver Fan Expo that we just had here. And I was just like, dude, if you want to dual stream, you know, that way you're not just, you know, yelling into the void hoping that somebody might be there. I was like, yeah, I'll just hang out and you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we'll just shoot the shit back and forth. And then he managed to get his stuff done on time. And then Fan Expo was this weekend, which was kind of interesting. I was there only for one day. I took my old boss there, because he wants to be getting into comic books. He's been in animation for 35 years, and as you can imagine, he is pretty sick and tired of it. And he'd rather be doing his own stuff, you know, as we all would rather be doing. Yeah, that's Ace. So I took him there because he's never been to a con. He said the last con that he was at was like 10-15 years ago, and I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, things are probably a lot different. And he was blown away. He was just like, oh my god, this is what it's like? And I had to be like, no. This is a very, very tiny example of what it could possibly be. Like, the Vancouver convention is very, very small. But he was blown away. He didn't realize like how many different styles of art and comic books and displays and stuff were going to be there. And he's like, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, man, that's like any and everything. There's like that person's an animator, that person's a concept artist, like that person's, you know, only does hot girl pinups, that person only does Transformers. Like, I just want to do some fun stuff, talk with people, pass on experience and whatnot, and have it be a positive experience. Yeah, dude, I have no interest in just whining about context and throwing shade on stream. Word, I hear you, man. Yeah, there's enough of that online all over the place, so it's almost at the point where you can just go and be like, oh, what kind of shade do I want to indulge in now? Okay, no, the first it's like, alright, I think I can start from here. I'll figure out that background stuff. Do something with this. Maybe turn these into kind of like arch. Archway kind of thingies. Maybe put these up here, maybe go like this. Let's cut in, maybe. Remember, I'm not supposed to think too much about it. Oh, no, I would have dumped him with me. He would have got shredded. It'll turn into something. But his teammates were down the hill, so they would have killed us. I learned it and then Tony didn't get wiped. meeting artists like yourself and getting inspired, sharing experiences. It would be when I was learning art, but it wasn't. Now it is though. Yeah, funny how it is, hey? Just like, well, shit. I don't know. I know what it was what it was like for you coming up, because your lineage and your direction is, you know, far different than mine. But like the tattoo world, everything was secretive back in the day. Like nobody taught anybody anything. Like that's why it was so such a guarded thing back in the day. If somebody brought you in, you know, it's that atypical master student scenario. Like, I'm teaching you how I do my stuff, and you better damn well appreciate it. And if anybody else says anything different, why are you listening to them and not the person that brought you in? So tattooing was very secretive, like as far as techniques and art and all that kind of stuff. But I never viewed it that way. I always viewed it as like, well, I'm gonna hang out with as many artists as I can, and everybody should be cool, because why wouldn't they? And I'd hang out with my, you know, artist friends, and they were all cool. Then I'd go hang out with my tattoo artist friends, and they'd be all weird. You know, they'd be like trying to hoard art information. I'm just like, what are you talking about? That's like sculpted light theory. What? That's like Michelangelo shit, man. Like, that's so secret. It's like the cereal aisle to me. So many different styles to choose from. Some imitators, some quite unique, but all tasty. Yeah. When we were starting out, it wasn't the secret club thing. It was more like individualistic. Like if they were to give up their secrets, they couldn't be considered good anymore. It's kind of the same. Yeah. People competitive for no real reason instead of helping. Well, back in the day with tattooing, there was definitive reason not to let anybody know your stuff. Because if you were doing something and nobody knew how you were doing it, like that, you could literally bank a career on a one or two trick pony kind of a thing. Not like that now. But on the other hand, there's a lot of Photoshop shenanigans going on in the tattoo world. People using lots of like upping the contrast on their photos, and also like bumping up the saturation on their photos, because getting an actual good photograph of a tattoo, first off, is really tough to do if you don't know what you're doing. Because first of all, tattoo artists are actually the worst photographers ever. So every photo looks like it's taken from inside of a tin can. So yeah, there's lots of shenanigans going on, and there's I just found this one Instagram thing called the Truth Fairy, and so this guy's going around getting photographs of these, like, you know, amazing looking photos of tattoos, but then getting what they look like after they're healed and have settled into the skin, and oof, some of them look like garbage. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, is that pass one? That's pass two. You know, like, I know what I would be doing, so I don't know if it's, you know, part of a multi-phase thing, so. But I can definitely see the photoshoppery in the photograph. Nowadays, art techniques are so easy to find. Exactly. Dissect because our general knowledge. Yep. How many are willing to dispense them? The secrets aren't so much careful and not listen to the wrong people. Exactly. Yeah, like now's the time. Like I was saying, like being an artist now, the best time ever. Literally anything, any knowledge you want is at your fingertips. You ever cover up some awful tats with your better one? Oh, yeah, man. Like, that's kind of what I started getting known for, is doing cover-ups and reworks and stuff like that. Because a lot of people don't do it because of how difficult it is. There's a lot of stuff that you should know, but a lot of people... Well, it's just like anything, you know, like you get better at it the more you do. And like I said, I worked for a biker and there was no such thing as no, I can't do that. It's like, yep, and you better damn well figure it out. And don't mess up, because you're going to have a very angry boss breathing down your neck. But yeah, tons and tons of cover-ups. Useful resources are everywhere nowadays. Exactly. Like, I remember when I was first starting, you know, internet wasn't readily accessible. Jesus, is like 90, 96, 97, somewhere around there. So it'd be like, all right, somebody's coming in for a tagger. Hey, Ryan, Nathan, you guys go to the library and go photocopy every single thing with a tiger in it. So we would go through every National Geographic from, like, you know, 1960 up until the modern times, and be like, oh, here's another tiger, cool, and just build up your morgue gallery of or your morgue file. You know, flowers, same thing. We'd have to go there and go through all the flowers, all the botanical books, all the botanical reference books, get photocopies, make tracings. You know, it's not like now it's just like, Google, find me this. Bloop. And also, too, I don't know if you guys have found this, but I've noticed a lot of people don't know how to search for stuff online. I don't know if you've experienced this. Like, I've noticed some people are like, hey, how do you do this? And it's like, dude, the internet's right there. Don't ask me, ask the internet. The internet has all the information. Absolutely. Actually, the king of search engine. Yeah, man, it blows me away how people don't know how to search for stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe it's also from tattooing back in the day, but you know how you have to optimize your word search. It's just like, don't just put in like how to do this. It's like, well, what is it you're trying to do? Narrow it down, narrow the field, expand your search. What's the terminology you're using? And I don't know, maybe just from being more of like a research development kind of mind. Maybe I'm just assuming not everybody's like that. I have strong Google food. Nice. I've given him a vague idea of something. He'll have found it before I finish telling him. Oh, that's awesome. Maybe people like to ask for conversation purposes, maybe? I don't know. He is my Google. That's awesome. Yeah, it definitely is a skill. Like, I had somebody ask me recently, they're like, oh, how do I do, what was it? How do I do 3D graffiti style lettering in a 3D program? And I literally just copy, paste that into YouTube and just sent them a bunch of links. It's like, here you go. Just literally use their own question and cut, copy, paste. Here you go. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, man. Yeah, we got a couple people who ask us they want context, but when you have people who are asking if you link them to a website, they could have just Googled for themselves. Exactly, exactly. What even is that? Are those shells? Like, what are they? You become their Ask Jeeves. What was the other one? Wasn't there a something duck? Oh, I can't remember. Ask Ryan. Rest in peace, Ass Jeeves. I understand. So, how do you Google? That's grand. Where did I leave my pens? Oh, oh man. Oh, I got a good story for you on losing pens. How do I do 3-letter in a 3D program? Yep. And the thing is, like, I don't even do 3D. But I was just like, couldn't you just import it as an SVG and then use the extrude? I was like, is that a thing? Look it up and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, so back to where are my pens? So this is years and years ago. I was living with my cousin, and I decide, this is the first time in a long time, I was like, man, I'm gonna smoke some weed. It's gonna be great. I'm just gonna sit down, get super baked, draw all night. This is gonna be awesome. I do just that. I'm coloring some kind of like graffiti style Sun 90s shit, and I'm using Prismacolor pencil crayons, and I got, like, you know, my array of colors all out, and I'm coloring away, and then boom, the color I was just using vanished, like just gone. And I was like, what? I just had it. Where did it go? I was like, and I'm thinking, like, well, I got up and I used the washroom. Maybe I left it in the washroom. Go into the washroom, search the washroom, it's not there. I'm looking around, I'm like, where the hell is it? Like, it couldn't have gone far. Search the couch, in the couch, around the couch, everywhere. And now stoner brain kicks in. And I was like, well, maybe when you got up and you went to the bathroom, it dropped, and as you moved your foot, you accidentally kicked it, and it went somewhere. So then I'm trying to run through, like, trajectories of, like, possible, like, angles and how it could have went, where I start recreating with pencils of the similar length, like, same foot. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's over here. No. I'm searching for about an hour. Like, starting to get to the point where I'm starting to get, like, really, really pissed off. And like a madman, I'm just like, where is this thing? Thing was in my mouth the entire time. I had it like this whole time. It was like, where the hell is this thing? And literally playing with it, pulling it out, looking around, putting it back in my mouth. Like, where the hell's that goddamn pencil? Yeah, took me about an hour to figure out, and it's because I literally took it out of my mouth. I was like, where the hell? And I looked like, oh my god. And immediately just start dying laughing. I was like, thank goodness my cousin wasn't here seeing that. Oh, glasses? Yeah. Yep. Put them on your head, frantically search around. Yeah. Freaking hilarious. So when's your retrospective gonna be there, Jay? Let's see, got my vector layer on. Yeah, I've done the ear thing before. Oh, yeah. Stick a brush under the front bill. Yep. Probably like 6:30. Cool. But I have a lot of physical art and then a ton of digital, so it's probably gonna end up being cut into 2 streams. Oh, cool. Are you gonna do like one digital and then one traditional? Or are you gonna do it more like era based? Sure, give context, tell any relevant stories, explain any relevant design stuff, answer any questions. Next picture. Nice. It's all sort of organized. It's a lot. So I did my best. That sounds awesome, though, man. That's gonna be a good stream. I hope so. As long as a few people show up, it'll be with time. Yeah, man. Oh, legs. Well, if you want, you can send me the info, and I can like pass it along to anybody else that's on my tail end of Twitch, YouTube, you know, Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. It's always good to, you know, help out where you can, and especially something like that, because it's always fun hearing other people's stuff, and at least I enjoy it anyway. Alright, Agent, look at you go.
We can go to the other base. Rated base directly in front of us, Logan.
Well, I try and keep these between, if I'm really trying to hustle, 90 minutes. But if I'm kind of mucking around, kind of like, you know, kind of like what I'm doing right now, chatting and stuff like that, I'll just let it go, and it'll be maybe like, you know, anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours per piece. And nice. Don't know who'd be interested or not, because it's like, here's the art this guy did, he's talking about it. Channel, pretty much the info. Yeah, I can pass it along, because, you know, stuff like that, you don't know who's interested until you put it out there. Like I said, I'm a sucker for people's process, hearing stories, people's development on where and how they got to places. Like the amount of podcasts I listen to, like comic book podcasts and art podcasts, you know, all about development and shit like that. I'm just like, yeah, it's my jam. Especially comic book stuff. Been listening to a ton of creator podcasts on people developing their comic books and stuff. Just because I'm working on my own, and I like to see where other people are with their stuff, what kind of like problems or tricks that they may have dealt with that I haven't even thought of yet, so... especially when it comes to things like Kickstarter and stuff like that, like I don't know anything about it, so listen to guys like Jason Brubaker and stuff like that. seeing how they pulled off their stuff, problems that they had, like the shipping costs, stuff like that. That's all stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to factor that in. Like, oh yeah, I got to factor the taxes in. Oh yeah, I got to factor the conversion rate. Oh yeah, I got to factor in what is it? A minimum 5% of what you are putting in now to when you go to fulfill it, because the chances are that postal prices are going to go up probably by 5% by the time you go to your fulfillment. So yeah, a bunch of stuff like that I have no idea about. That's why I always try to talk a lot on stream and answer questions, since I work a lot different in other arts, as it were. Yeah, we have a buddy doing his comic and inks on stream like 4 nights a week. Oh, that's awesome. Who is that? If you got a link, feel free to throw it in there. Yeah, go for it, go for it. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough so far. I've been getting away with not having to like have tons of protocols or mod stuff yet, so it's one of the advantages of not being popular. Oh, sweet. I did a guest stream with him on his channel before, and alright, cool. Definitely give this guy a follow. Oh, I'm already following him. Oh, okay. Awesome. I like it when that happens. The circle is complete. Yeah, I always end up searching, you know, whoever's doing comic book stuff on Twitch. It's like, who else is going through the struggle? So give me a style, craftsmanship, and passion over popularity any day. How did you settle on a theme for your coloring book? Oh, let's see. How did I come up with it? Well, I kind of settled on like a sci-fi fantasy thing, because it's kind of just what the garbage that pours out of my head. Because I wanted to make it so it's something that I'm not thinking of. Like, I'm not trying to, like, you know, craft something to the fullest extent. I just want my mind to go and just spew out whatever happens. Like, where is it? So yeah, like, these are all the sketches that I did up from the last stream. And these are all, you know, just run-of-the-mill, top of my head. Enough for me to get an idea of what I was kind of wanting, but still loose enough to be like, okay, I can just run with something. and it always ends up being kind of like a weird blend of like sci-fi, techno, organic, fantasy. So yeah, that's kind of how it came about. Agreed, though, if someone gets popular from passion style craftsmanship, it's totally okay too. Yeah, your sketches are intense. Thanks. They're just scribble messes. It's like, yeah, it's one of those things where when I'm doing storyboards and stuff like that, like uh, one of my storyboard supervisors, like, you gotta loosen up. And I was just like, you don't understand. If I loosen up, the amount of gibberish that's going to be there, it's going to make no sense to you guys whatsoever. And so I ended up, he's like, hey, just loosen up, do it how you would usually sketch. And I was like, okay, here you go. So I ended up doing a set of boards, how I sketch boards. And he's like, yeah, go back to what you were doing before. I was like, I told you, man. They read well and are fun to look at. Oh, thank you. True, genuine, organic growth is best. Exactly. Yep. That way, anybody who's there looking at your stuff genuinely wants to be there looking at your stuff. And it makes such a difference, you know, having people actually interested in what you're doing as opposed to be like, oh, okay, cool. I don't have the energy or fake art to do the whole gimmick thing. Yeah, fuck, I can't do that either, man. Like, probably the hardest thing that I've had to do recently was my Patreon intro video, because I'm trying to like hit all the bases, still be, you know, accessible, friendly, all that stuff, but deep down, I just want to be like, how can I put it? A lot of profanities and stuff like that usually, but I try and keep a lid on it because, like, alright, let's try and hit a broader spectrum here. Not everybody's going to be, you know, a trucker and a biker wanting to support you, you know? So, it does drain you. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But I think I did a good enough job on my Patreon video where I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But man, trying to edit yourself, what a chore that is. Finding all those weird little mannerisms that you do. It's like, oh, that's a thing I do? I do that when I'm talking? Oh man. I'm not even aware of that, but now that I'm aware of it, I'm hyper aware of it.
Chilling with AKs right now, all fucking up.
Yeah, I can't really watch my VODs because of that. Yeah, I'm always afraid to go and watch mine because, like, oh, what kind of horrible things have I said? But then I go, whatever. Yeah, 20 years of being in the tattoo industry, my filter, I have to remind myself, it's just like, tone it down, man. Just bring it down. Why the hell do I do that when I talk that way? Exactly. Let's see, when after streams afterwards, I watch him analyze every D like movie footage from submarine captains reading radars for the right. I really do that? Yes. No. I catch myself saying some shit I would never otherwise, and I sit back and try to reset my brain.
Son of a...
Hey, Nixa Designs, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Well, the way that I found out that I usually speak like a trucker and a pirate that's drunk at a brothel is I ended up recording myself drinking one night. Like, just a normal night going out, hanging out with friends, getting super drunk. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put my headphones around my neck and I'm just gonna record myself all night. So this is back when I had like a mini disc player, so just plugged it in and recorded the entire night. Hey there, Nixa, how you doing? Snixa! And I played it back the next day, and man, everyone else sounded so eloquent and well composed, and then I came along, I was like, mother, just like, oh man. Mental note, calm down. Pretty good, pretty good. All right on. It's good to hear. Well, thank you for coming by and following. Just working on some stuff for my coloring book project that I'm putting together.
Oh yeah, we should buy it off.
And telling stories of how I usually talk like a trucker, but how I'm trying to keep it in check.
Let's go gamble after. Let's go gamble all of it. Everything. We're bringing all of the scraps and gambling.
Few technical frustrations, but that's pretty good. Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, technical frustrations are the worst. Because you know you can fix the problem. That's just about all Aussies. Technical frustrations. Yeah, I was just listening to a podcast talking about, was it the Bunyip? Bunyip and the Yowie, and well, there's another one. It was all about Australian zoological, or was it cryptozoology or cryptozoic creatures? Well, my one is more, I know how to do code. Oh, code. Brr. I have to use the interface. Yeah, was it the Bunyip, the Yowie? There's a couple other ones in there too. The joke about the old drop bears. And then I just listened to another podcast called, was it Astonishing Legends last night? And it was all about yokai. So like Japanese ghosts, demons, paranormal activity. Super cool stuff. I love the code, but I figured I'd try to use Adobe Portfolios since I mean to set up portfolios, and when you're semi-knowledgeable with code, it get annoying. Yeah, I only took some code way back in the day. Enough to know that I was not good at it. and enough to know that it makes me very angry. Yeah, Japanese have some interesting folklore stuff. Yeah, it was super cool. And they kind of went into more like some of the modern stuff, like was it the taki-taki?
Here, you want to get this one of them? Most of it? I don't know.
That was a cool one. I never heard of that one before. The lady severed in half that runs after you upside down with her hands, with her entrails hanging out. It's like, damn!
Actually, well, we came here to get a blue card. We ended up getting a ticket off. We're so happy now enough to live in that body.
Yokai, OG Kappa, yep. Yeah, well, I'm good enough to edit and stuff, but not enough that I would do a paid gig. Yeah, that's cool. So what's these illustrated for? These are all for the coloring book project that I'm putting together. It's all sci-fi, fantasy themed, so everything's kind of like all over the map. And then that way, it's a way for me to also do something kind of away from the comic book project that I'm doing, because I love drawing, and doing the comic book is very focused work.
Thank you.
Hey, Seven Shades! Thank you for that. Welcome, welcome. You and your 8 people. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. Six is on, hey, fighting sleep, trying to see this piece unfold. We'll come together slowly. Coffee and energy drinks. What was I saying? Yeah. So I'm doing this because I love drawing, and it's a nice way to kind of like take a break from just the labor-intensive aspect of making comic books, and I can just kind of freeform, just make up some cool stuff, let it be what it is, and that'll go into the coloring book. So also, you familiar with the new editing system on Twitch? Yeah, just asking because I noticed you aren't using it much. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that thing. Yeah, that's my bad. It's midnight, been up since 4 a.m. Oof. Well, I got a jet. Glad to see you working away. Yeah, man. And yeah, I'll put the word out. I'll let everybody know that you're doing that tomorrow, doing your retrospective on stuff. Give a shout out to the limited people that I got, but point them in your direction. Oh, thanks, Cammy. You should be wide awake then. You're only halfway through your day. And yeah, have a good one, Jay. And I'll try to catch your stream tomorrow, because if it's at 6, I should be able to catch it. Hey, Seven Shades, how you doing? Thank you. All right, Jay, peace out. Oh, why am I getting? Oh, I know why. Yeah, let's do this. Hope I'm not dropping out too bad. I just noticed how many drop frames I had there. Hey, you know what? Let me quickly put those tags in, because honestly, every time that I sign in, I forget about that. So I personally normally wait for 2 days. I wish I could do that. I'm usually up to like 3, 4 in the morning. There we go. That should maybe do something. I don't know. So bring that back, and bring that back, and you seem okay from what I can tell mostly. You have a Defy tag excluding the language tag they allow. Yeah, I just went and re-tagged all my stuff there.
Son of a.
Hey, Seven Shades, thank you for the follow. The tags reset every day for some reason. Yeah, I noticed that too. When me and my buddy Sven were on, we both noticed that he signed in, did the tags, and then signed out, and then signed back in, and he had to redo his tags. Not even the next day, like that stream. Like he did something where he hiccuped and had to come back online. So I don't want that to be an in or an out. Yeah, that's because of how they're meant to be used. Yeah, I haven't looked into their stuff since they've reset everything. Example, you would use a sketch tag when you're working on a sketch, but when you start inking, you'd use the inking. Same ones. W. Define the stream. What you're doing. Take was meant to be tagged. Oh, okay. Let's Let's go back into here. Let's make a new one of these. I want to adjust a couple things quickly. Bring that over there. Switch back to this one. I want to pull the tang more through here. So this is going to be pulled back a little bit more. That can pretty much stay the same. Twitch need to open up the API, but they haven't because there's a project that we want to start, but I can't until they open tagging. Yeah, I have no idea how any of that stuff works. I'm actually still surprised that Creative is still around. I'm almost waiting for them to kind of kill it. But I hope they don't. It's a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. It makes the time go by a lot easier than just kind of sitting by yourself and yelling into the void. Then I'd have to move over to Picarto or Mixer if they killed Twitch Creative. Yeah, I know. But at least on Picarto you could draw all the lewds you want, yo. Fix that. I don't like the way that that's looking. Teardrop design or something like that. Look at that. That works. All right. Yo, wait a chicken, man. That is true. I notice IG is still holding the creative torch up. I want to create a script that allows me to change my tags to my usual since it is a tag. I want the ability to apply a templated tags. True. I was looking to do an Inktober. Oh, nice. Nice. Got that Inktober action going. But honestly, if you do lewd, you should be on Picarto or YouTube, to be honest. Make that lewd money. Let's drag this down a little bit more. Right around there. I reckon I'm pretty sure Picarto is better for mostly. Oh, what were you working on for Inktober there, Wade?
Look at my face right now. I'm in the door. I'm gonna die from this stuff. do you get rid of rats? Just get rid of rats. I don't know what to do with all of that. I want rid of rats. Oh. I need them. I'm stuck. I have 300 radiant.
I don't know much about Picardo. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I know about is you can get away with drawing some of the old boobies on there.
Take my stuff then. See? We gonna grab it or no? That's fine. I like it. I like how I'm stuck in the door. Can you take out the fuse to see if that will work? So I'm at 200 grab. Like how
Well, it's built for creative streaming. Let's see, I'm going by the way Judge Parker list, so you're on week. Nice.
but I don't want to be cushiony.
I mean, the creative tag is still strong on IG. From Devon 3D modeling to lewd furry stuff, all nicely categorized. Everything has its own category. Where on Picardo? IG is all over the place.
Yeah, 40 out. So for 270 grab. Yeah, I like how you're just gunning it really far away. Sad. No, not even that. I just got stuck behind a door. That makes me feel okay.
Yeah, I haven't dug deep into the Instagram side.
Where are you at right now? Yeah. My body dropped through the door apparently. Yeah. There's something back at home. Fun game. End game crash. Yeah, 400 grad since I got stuck on the doorway. Door. I was like, but I get down off the wall. Like bouncing off the
Instagram is good if you can utilize it, but it depends on what you do on this, how much you understand tagging, hashtagging, word. Yeah, the only thing with it is like I don't have something that I'd want to use to be a dedicated thing to stream on it. Like I don't want to use my phone because I did that once with one of my other phones and it literally killed it. Like I think it was like 4 streams and my phone literally died less than a week later. It got so hot from doing video recording.
Never mind, we got a lot. This hatchet is really cool.
Dude, Sarah Jean, I followed does painting. Been doing a slightly impressionist, but not all ambiguous. Nothing happens to him. Yeah, I just don't like the idea of using my phone for that purpose. Just mainly because I've already had an incident happen where it's like, oh, that phone's dead. But who knows, maybe I had like a crap phone. It was a Note 4. And man, that thing would get like hot. We can use your PC, but it's a bit of work to set up initially. A bunch of workarounds, I assume. Even what's your face, who goes topless, since it's legal in kind of trouble where there is your sexual. What's that? One image. Oh, I don't know who that is. Rose McGowan. Oh, really? Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis doing all that topless painting. Sent you a whisper on YouTube on how to do it if you want to take. Oh yeah. I'll check that out once I'm all done. Because I'm always interested in checking out other avenues and stuff. So thanks for that, Snakes. Bruce Willis's daughter and several models were also flagged. Oh, so not straight up Bruce Willis? Disappointed. Disappointed! Yeah, I wouldn't expect to do checking streaming. Let's see, how are my... Okay, my stuff's kind of leveled off a little bit there. I was getting some spiking. So don't take any chances with IG. Word. I got you. Still got a chuckle out of me. Those layers, though. A lot of them are just for show. A lot of them aren't being used. Going to be off now? Well, thanks for popping by there, Snicks. Feel free to pop by anytime. Thanks for dropping in, hanging out. And I will check out that YouTube thing after I'm done streaming here. I have a Picardo account before I found out there's like 60% porn art. If I'm in chat and management, I would use it. Yeah, Mamachu's on there quite a bit. I think he's hitting up the lewd scene quite successfully right now. Yeah, have a good one, Snicks. And again, thank you for popping by, and feel free to pop by again anytime.
I'm 3 cents off from my Python poison job. That was really good.
This is coming along. It's doing its thing, doing its job. What time is it right now? 9:31. Okay, I'm pretty much on time.
You gave me 2 helmets instead of. Yeah, so shit. I'm bringing 8 kills. I yeet. I shoot you.
Gotta fill up that 40% with your quality Wade. But again, I know nothing about the platform. Yeah, me either. I think I have an account there, but I have no idea.
Yeah, why are we not using that? I'm bringing it. Can't reload. Gotta look for it. Gotta represent when I just go. Make myself. I'll make myself. It's gonna look.
It's hard to beat out the lewds, though.
Christ better. Don't feel bad though. Yeah. Yeah. Black.
Nope. 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 Let's try this side. Nope. Nope. Getting so much drop off. Look at that works. Get back there.
Search you would say get killed. A constructive base. Unlocked. Oh, upgrade. Got it. Places campfire. I don't have that.
Let's see. Get rid of my stabilization. And then this is going to be a bit more loosey-goosey, kind of weird. Almost like gnarled, side-encrusted
I don't have place campfire.
thingies.
Click on the grab. Regular? Oh,
I just went to the home page. There's a carousel, and two of the extremes are regular. The rest of
What are these achievements? Oh wow, these achievements are easy. The last achievement is place a research.
Well, sometimes you just got to confirm, right? You know, just be like.
You gotta go out. Why am I over here?
If it's the furry kind, I'd be okay with it. Yeah, there's saw a couple furries at the convention this year. At the Vancouver Fan Expo. I actually got to bump into Sarah Jean, which was super nice.
I mean, you're getting off, right?
Just turn that off and let's get a little bit more random action on each side. turn that back on now.
Sure.
Yeah, all in all, it was a super interesting con. A bunch of weirdness, just like every year at the con.
Jumped into a game. I'm like 10 minutes in. It's already got like spaz.
By weirdness, I mean usually it's the event organizers not doing stuff that they're supposed to be doing and completely ignoring guests, which seems to be the standard fare. I'm just waiting for somebody else to come in and kind of just scoop up the whole scene from underneath them. It's unfortunate because it really goes to show that they really don't care about the Vancouver con whatsoever, because they make so much money at the Toronto one. They're just like, whatever, we'll just do this and cash in on it. And it's pretty apparent, which is super unfortunate.
Got an AK instant. Yeah, it's running around and you're like a great instant got AK. Airdrop, sorry. Okay. I think I know now.
Cash grab in staple industry, yeah, totally. Which is really unfortunate because the venue is awesome. The potential for growth is quite literally exponential. Like, Vancouver is known as Hollywood North for a reason, and there is quite literally no how can I put it? There's no cross-platforming whatsoever. Like, Vancouver has the most video game industry related stuff in all of Canada. There's no hand being outreach that way. There's like tons of makeup and visual effects schools. I think there was like maybe was there 2 schools there? 1 or 2 schools that had a booth there. Like, I don't know, just kind of like shocking on how much of a mark they're missing. And every year I keep hearing stuff from the guest artists, not so much the Artist Alley side, but the people that are invited to be there. Some people got invited to be there last minute, as where other people kind of just got left into the wind, that are like a lot of local talent, because there's a lot of comic book artists and illustrators that are in Vancouver. Nobody got an invite, nobody got outreach, nobody, you know, it was just literally left to the wind. And then the next one apparently is in March, which is only like, what, 5 months away? 6 months away? Not even? Yeah, they aren't doing themselves any favors. I didn't log in, so I'm seeing the site like a visitor. No disclaimers, no welcome or explanations on the main page. Let's see. Lewd, lewd, porn, furry, lewd, porn, furry, regular art. Hey! It's super funny. Closing the tab now, back to drawing. Oof, my butt hurts just reading that.
Never.
I gotta get a hold of a friend of mine. I gotta find out if we're going to this concert this week or not. So I'm gonna grab some sleep. Yay, do that up there, Pay Monkey. Looking pretty dope so far. I'm sure I'll check out tomorrow if you finish it tonight. Thanks for the chills. Yeah, thanks for swinging on by there, Pay Monkey. Go get some rest. And I will see you in the future. fix this. I don't like that. I don't like that either. I want this to be raised. Just keep hitting it until I get the shape I want. There we go. Let's see, we'll give this a bunch of segments just to make it look like maybe this has a bit kind of like a weird crunchy roll feature. Throw in some. Alright, now we're at the point where I can just start adding shit. Does it need to make sense? Hell no. But what I should do is save, because that would be smart. Thicken that up just a tad. Alright, let me get onto that background. Knock this back a little bit more. Maybe about there. And let's bang out this background. straight back and not be connected. Oh, hi Dexter. What is up? What's going on? You want to come up? No? Wait. Hi. Oh, you gonna come screw my shit up? Is that the real plan? Yeah, let's save this before you do that.
Your sister?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
What? Nothing?
When will you start streaming?
What's
when
that?
When will you be done streaming?
I'm almost done this drawing, so.
Okay, so by then probably?
Hmm?
By then probably?
What time?
Yeah, just what I'm wondering what time.
Maybe like another 20 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah. Need help with something?
Yeah.
Okay. Dexter, come on now. Dude, you always mess my shit up, man. Always. Boop. Hey there, buddy. How you doing? Dude, get your ass away from my keyboard. Oh, you're such a dink. Oh, Dexter, you're so cute. Alright, let's bang this out, and then I can go help my kid with his homework. Let's go this side. What am I doing? Trying to draw awkwardly from one angle.
That's a good thing. Oliver wants it. It's graphic character. Nail is special. It's half. At least half what it has. Let's get this. Still see there's players. Yeah, I think yeah. Doesn't matter.
That was too much in that spot.
I remember I was. I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this. Wait. Oh, I hate this.
No, I don't like this. This is gross. Get rid of that. Let's take away all this red. Take away that. Take away this. Take away that. Alright, I'm going to slim down a couple lines here. This is too thick. Go back up to here, and let's see. I want to thicken up a couple lines, thicken the brush. Now I'm going to thicken up that, thicken up that, thicken up that a little bit. Just a little bit more, a little bit there. Thicken up this. That. Oop, might as well erase some of that. Hey Uber, how's it going? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, just about to wrap it up here. Yeah, just punching up some of the lines. How you doing tonight, man? Not bad, not bad. Good, good, good. Just woke up. My sleep schedule's all sort of, oh man. Yeah, mine hasn't been right in a long time. It's one of the disadvantages of not officially working for a while. Yeah, stay up till 4. Derp. Let's knock this background back a little bit. clean up a couple spots. Yeah, Dexter. You working on anything cool lately, man? Hey, Dexter. Boop. Yeah. Let's see, let's add some. Something you did recently? Oh, let me check this out. Oh, nice. Dope. That's badass, man. Slick. I like it. All the Photoshop, or yeah, Photoshop. Yeah, I heard that apparently iPad is now going to be getting a full rendition of Photoshop here very shortly. At least that's the internet rumor that I saw. I still haven't really given CSP a real shot. Someday. Oh, dang. Yeah, I think I just saw that just before I started streaming, so I didn't get a chance to look into it, but appears to be the way with the new iPad Pro that's coming out. I had another bloated battery with my MacBook Pro recently, and I looked around for an alternate fix because Apple gouges you on simple repairs replacements. Yeah, I know. I've heard a bunch of stuff about the Apple repairs. Essentially, how it's the biggest scam ever. How they pretty much make it inaccessible to any kind of like third-party repair shops, because you have to be a licensed Apple technician, and they make it virtually impossible to be an official licensed Apple technician. I'm looking into it. They got awful predatory. Yep. Yeah, no, it's brutal. I watched a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you watch, what is it, Linus Tech Tips, and they kind of documented their ordeal with it because they're like big. There's like 32-inch iMac went down, and they tried to get it repaired, and that was just like a nightmare from end to end. And they couldn't even get like a third-party person to fix it, and they're just like it works fine. We just want it fixed. Like, we're willing to pay for it. And I watched it. It was just like, holy crap, this is insane. So I seriously doubt I ever give them the money again if I can help it. But yeah, if they're authorized partners too, they're literally not allowed to fix stuff. Yeah, that's it exactly. They went to multiple people. They ended up having to go through like some like really shady stuff and ended up fixing it themselves. And they're like, well, just give us the parts, we'll fix it. And like, yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's it. That's pretty much exactly what it was. Somebody who had something that fell off the back of a truck. A guy knew a guy who knew a guy. Alright, cool. I think that's gonna call it for me for tonight. Save this. Alright, that's gonna wrap it up for me. Thanks Uber for popping by. Thanks everybody else for popping by. I'm gonna find somebody to host here quickly. Let's see who's popping on right now. Oh, you know what? Art's on. So I'm just going to drop everybody off in Art stream here. Yeah, man. I might be on again tomorrow. Actually, I might be watching Jay Axer's stream tomorrow night. He's doing a retrospective on all of his artwork. So that might be pretty cool to watch, just because it's like he's been doing professional stuff for so long, so it'll be cool to see the progression of when he first started to where he is now. And apparently that's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it might be super cool to check out. Okay, Dexter. You're like right in the way of everything here. Yeah, I'm gonna put that cord over you. How do you like that? Not so much? Yeah, move it. Get out of here. Alright, just gonna throw him a host here. All right, everybody. Peace out. Have a good one.
Ryan coming in with the host. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for that host, dude. Hope you're having a great